Everyone, welcome to my channel, Jimly Gardening and More. And today we're going to tie-dye some white pants or white shirts that I found at TJMAX. I think they're going to be really cool. We're going to ice dye them, and I'm going to do a pattern that's called the wig wag. Don't ask me why it's called that, but when you look on YouTube, you'll find that pattern. So I have washed these, and then I have soaked them in soda ash, 1 cup per 1 gallon of water, 1 cup of soda ash per 1 gallon of water. They've been soaking for 30 minutes, and I spun them out in my front load washing machine, and now they're lightly damped. And so we are going to start wrapping in them. I'm going to show you. My cat left the hair there. Okay, so you could use a ruler like this, but I happen to have a big ruler like this. So I'm going to start just above where the thigh is. So right about there, and just below, in between where the watch pocket is, in between those two, and come straight down. Okay, this is a washable marker. I'm going to come straight down. Awesome. Okay, that to the side. Okay, so I have my kite string. I have my scissors. You saw the ruler. Like I said, you could use this one. You would just have to like put a notch there and come to there, and then put a notch there so that you could bring it down. But I happen to have a ruler that's longer, yardstick, I think. Okay, we are going to fold on the black line. Because this fabric's thick, I'm going to have to be going through a zipper area, a lot of double seaming. These folds are going to be fairly large. I won't be able to do small little folds, pleats. There we go. So those are about a good inch, maybe a little higher than an inch, but that should be good. I just keep bringing it to me, making sure that you're getting all the bottom up in that crease. And then every once in a while, straighten this out, making sure that everything's in a fold. It does take practice to learn how to do the folds, the accordion folds, pleats, however you want to call them. It takes practice, so I suggest you do lots of them. And you just get better. You get to feel of the fabric. You know how it's going to fold. You know how thick it's going to be. So that's helpful. Okay. We will go ahead and fast forward through this just to get done, and then I'll show you how we're going to tie it. Okay, as you can see, I've got it all pleated. There's a little thickness right there because that's where the zipper part is, but I think it'll be just fine. The most important piece is that I have my black line lined up pretty well, so that will add the definition of the pattern that we're going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap the kite string around this area. Now, as I'm wrapping this, I'm keeping it pretty taut because I don't want these folds to come undone while I'm wrapping it. And then you get to the end here, and it's a little more difficult because now you have the waistband to deal with, the belt loops, of course, the zipper and the button there. Okay, and now I'm going to wrap back, just crossing over. Keeping it taut. I feel like I'm tying up a fish. Okay, now we're gonna see, I switched it over, so now I'm going to finish up on this end. And again, we're just looking for all those folds. I want to keep those going through the garment as much as you can because that will add more definition and detail to your pattern. Like I said, it takes time, practice to learn how to fold in such a way. So if I was you and you were interested in learning how to do this, I might take a wet t-shirt and just practice putting pleats in, doing folds. You don't have to do the wig wag design. That's a little more difficult. But you could do just regular fan fold pleats on a t-shirt and get some really cool looks. Okay, so you can see we're at the crotch now, and I'm trying to figure out how to get this so it's folded up nice. Right there. That. And that. I think we got it. So I plan on ice dyeing these, and I will show you all that process. But with ice dye, you have to leave not always, but for this particular one I am going to be doing, I need to let these sit out and dry completely through, or at least as much as I can get them dry. So I won't be dyeing them today, but I will show you when I do dye them. So there'll be a split in this segment, and then we'll add the other segment on when I actually do the dyeing. Okay, so we're going to tie this off. Okay, cut that. All right, for the wig wag design, we're going to do kind of a triangular kind of look. So we're going to go like this, like that. I might use the thicker end. And as you get farther up the fabric, you can make these little zigzags bigger. And I'm just going to ignore this line that I did for the pleating. I won't need that anymore. I'm just looking at these diagonal lines now for when I place the die. And as you can see, this isn't perfect, you know, that's just tie-dye. You do the best you can. And most of all, you have fun. I love experimenting with the colors. That's probably what attracted me to tie-dyeing. Well, hello, Tiberius. Come on. All right. So I'm going to do the other side the same way I just did that, and match the same lines. The reason I'm doing this is because we're going to do colors this way on each side, and this gives me a base. So I'm going to start with, I believe, magenta, and then from magenta I'm going to go out with different colors. All right, so let this sit out and dry, and when it's ready to be ice dyed, I will bring you along and show you how we're going to do that. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye. Okay, folks, I'm going to put my gloves on and we're going to apply the dye. It's been a few days since the last time when I showed you tying these shorts up. So I'm going to add some soda ash on top of this because I'm afraid the soda ash has dissipated and then the dye won't adhere to the fabric. So I always keep a little thing of soda ash here. I'm just going to sprinkle a little all over. Not really doing a lot. Just so that as the ice starts to melt, it'll mix with the soda ash and then it'll melt down into the fabric and adhere better. Okay. I'll go over my supplies. I have a small spoon that I use for getting the dye out. I have this little tool that I got from Harbor Freight. I really like this because I can really get in there and do those lines. So I'll show you how I use that. Of course, I have gloves. This is my tub with a rack in it. Show you. And when I'm done putting the dye on, we're going to put ice on top of it. We're going to let it sit, and then we'll rinse it after about 48 hours. So right now I'm going to start with magenta. This is from Dharma Trading Company. Now this is what I'm going to put on this line that I drew on here, the zigzag line. So I'm going to put the magenta as closely as I can right onto that line.
You do?
So I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but these are 100% cotton. I do believe there's 10% spandex, so it's 90% cotton. So they're also very thick. So that's another reason why I need to use more dye than I would say with a t-shirt or something, because I really need some saturation here.
You can see I bring it all the way down. There we go. Okay.
Another good way of using this dye that's fallen off, sometimes we call what we do, we call it mucking. And basically you put the dye on top of the fabric, you set it inside the tub, and then you put the ice all around it, and as the ice melts it creates a bath underneath, and then the fabric will soak up that dye, that mixture of dye, from the bottom and also from the top, and it gives you a very neat effect with all those colors blended together. I do a lot of mucking with t-shirts. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned, but this magenta, it's the first time I'm using this color, so let's see how that works. And you can see this is not perfect. We're just getting the dye along this line. And that's the beauty of ice dye. I should ice dye more than I do, but the blending of colors is just beautiful. And you never know what you're going to get. When you use liquid dye, it gives you much more vivid colors if you really want like a clear yellow or a clear red. I would use the liquid dye for that techniques. But ice dye gives you a really cool.
Here's some nice folks, my neighbors. Going for a putt. Alright. No, just to me. Oops. Way too much.
I didn't draw a line down here at the waistband, but I'm going to go ahead and kind of draw a line there. All right. And then what I'm going to do is use, how do I want to start this? I think we will use blue violet. I brought all these colors out. Plum blossom. And maybe some robin's egg blue. Okay. All right. So I think I'm going to start with the plum blossom, and then I'll do some blue violet afterwards. The blue violet's darker, so I'll do that last, and the plum blossom's much lighter, so we're going to do that one first. All right, as you can see, I love this color. I use a lot of it. And this dye, I don't know if it's because it's a mixture of colors, but it's actually a lot easier to use. And I don't know why. So as you can see, I'm doing all the plum blossom along here where the zigzags are, if you can see that. So plum blossom's going to go in there, and then the blue violet will go in there. So as I go along, I'm just filling in these little triangular spots. And I really think this is going to be pretty. I know it's much lighter than the magenta, but I think the two of them combined together are going to make some really pretty colors, some nice blends. We'll see. That's the beauty of tie-dye. You never know till you try. I've come up with some designs on my own and thought, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? And then I'll stumble on something that I really like, and I try to remember what that was, like especially color combinations. Oftentimes not oftentimes, but in the past, I have come up with color combinations that just did not accent each other. I do have a color wheel that I like to use, just one of those old-fashioned paper ones. I actually bought that later on because I thought, well, this will give me some clear ideas of what colors go together and what don't. All right. I should probably do a public service warning. You should be using a mask when you're using dye, powdered dye. I don't, because I'm back here far enough and I don't really see the smoke, but I recommend that you do wear one of these. Okay, now we're going to do the blue violet. Now, blue violet is new to me. So this is the first time I'm using this, as well as the magenta. So as I said before, I did all the plum blossom here, and now I'm going to do all the blue violet on these triangles. I'm excited to see these. I'm using two new colors to me. Who would have thought I was able to find white shorts for the summer? And I get to tie-dye. This summer I'm looking into possibly selling some of my items at farmers markets. And if I'm able to, I will post that on my Instagram. Also, I have an Etsy account. Jimmy Jam tie-dye shop. I have a few pieces up there. Contact me if you want to see some of the other pieces I've already done. Right in here is where the waistband starts and the zipper, so I'm trying to get it pretty thick in there. How dare you drink tea while I'm filming? My video photographer today is my daughter Bryna. Thank you, Bryna. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait till these are done and then decide whether I want to wear a tie-dye shirt with them or not. It might be a little too much. But hey, that's why I like tie-dye. All right, folks. I'm going to put a touch more soda ash on top of the dye. Just a tap it. I don't want it to break down the dye. Okay. We'll pause here. I'm going to go get the ice and we'll be back. All right, I'm going to make a little, not sure what you call it. And this is how I do them. Angie from Fun Endeavors Tie-Dye Lab, she uses silicone cake molds. I did try those. I did not have very good luck with them. So what I use is cardboard that I cut up from whatever delivery I got. I use tin foil, fold it over, as I'm doing right now. Now, you want this part facing the fabric. Sometimes you have to fold the cardboard. You have to find those little creases where you can fold it and mold it. You want a nice tight area. Oh my. Well, that would have been nice incline dye. Incline dye is when you put your whatever you're tie-dyeing and you kind of do it at a slope and you start all the dye in the ice here, and as it melts it moves down and does a lot of blending. It's very pretty. I've done a couple dresses that way. All right. Okay, so I put my mold right here. It's, like I said, just cardboard with tin foil wrapped around it. And I have it secured around the garment. Now we're going to put some ice on there. And it really doesn't matter what kind of ice you use. I have seen videos of this woman that buys ice from some particular place. And they're the round cylinder looking ones. And she gets some really cool designs with it. But I think that's a little expensive to do that. So I'm just piling on. This is not ice from my refrigerator. This is ice that I purchased at a local gas station. I'm going to kind of get really thick in here with the ice because this is where the waistband, there's a flat piece, I'll just set right there. So as you can see, I just did it right to the top of this. Now it's going to sit for 48 hours. And I can come back if I don't think I'm getting good enough coverage, especially in those thick areas. I can add more ice to the process. And I probably wouldn't normally do this, but like I said, this garment has been sitting for quite a number of days. So I'm going to put a little more soda ash just so as that ice melts through. Have a little more soda ash to help. All right. Okay, so that's it for right now. I will go ahead and soak these up for 48 hours, and then we'll show you that process when I undo them, and then we'll wash them, and maybe I'll model them. All right, see you in just a few. Okay. Hi folks. Okay, so it's 48 hours later. The ice has melted, the dye has dissipated. There's a little bit left there, but I'm not too worried about it. So I'm going to unwrap these, rinse them, and then I'll wash them, and then I'll show you what they look like when they're done. I will go over a little bit of the rinsing. I usually rinse in a lukewarm first, and if I need to, I might add a little teeny bit of dish soap just to break up the dye, but typically I don't necessarily need to do that. And then I do wash them in Dharma's textile detergent. Okay, see you in a few. Hi folks. So I rinsed and washed them and dried them, and this is what they look like. I really like the color combinations here. There's some blending more of the lighter colors, and over here we have some more of the darker colors, which was the magenta. But you can see kind of where the fan folds were as I was going up, so it kept that design. They are American Eagle. Flip them over. I love the pocket design. It reminds me of a jean we had back in the 80s called Jordache. I think that's how their sign was. So anyways, I love them. I'm going to wear them all summer long. You did notice that the white stitching came out. That's fine. I don't care. It looks like it's part of the tie-dye. And let me know what you think in the comments. If you like what you saw, give me a like, please. And if you want to see what I'm up to next time, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the bell so you get all the notifications. All right, take care. See you soon. Bye.